The next pattern that goes with factoring special cases is a square of a sum or difference pattern. So I'll give you some time to write this example down, but if you have a quadratic like ax squared plus bx plus c, and you notice that a and c are perfect squares, you may be able to use the pattern a squared plus 2ab plus b squared equals a plus b squared. So that's kind of very algebraic, right? A lot of variables. So let's get down to like a specific example. If you see a quadratic and you notice that the first term is a perfect square and the last term is a perfect square, you might be able to use this pattern. Okay, so 4x squared, that's a perfect square. 25, that's a perfect square. So let's try and use the pattern. The first step is to set up the parentheses. Okay. Now the parentheses are going to look like this. So my parentheses are going to look like just a set of parentheses with a squared. Now what goes inside, that's what we have to find out. So step 2 is kind of the check to make sure the pattern works. So if this pattern is true, then the square root of a should be, the square root of a squared, which is a, the square root of b squared, which is b. If I double that number, right, 2ab, I should get this. So what's the square root of 4? 2. Square root of 25 is 5. So if I double that, does that give me 20? It does. That means I can use this pattern. Okay? So I take the square root of both of these numbers. So it's 2 times 5 is 10. Double that, I get 20. So it worked out perfectly. Now, the last step, or sorry, step 3 I should say, is to put in the square roots. So the square root of 4x squared is 2x. So 2x goes here. And the square root of 25 is 5. So 5 goes there. Okay. And the last part, the last big step, this one's important, so I'm going to do it in a different color, is to copy the sign. If this is addition, it means this is addition. So the answer is 2x plus 5. Let's do a similar problem. 64x squared minus 112x plus 49. So let's take a look. 64 is a perfect square. 49 is a perfect square. So I can probably use this pattern. So I'll set up my parentheses. And then I'll double check. The square root of 64 is 8. The square root of 49 is 7. 8 times 7 is 56. Does 2 times 56 equal 112? Yes, it does. So I can use this pattern. The first term would be the square root of 64x squared, which would be 8x. The second term is the square root of 49, which is 7. It's all separated by, right, I copy the sign, subtraction. So this would be 8x minus 7 squared. And that's it for factoring special cases. There are some on your own problems that I want you to do, and then you can move on to the practice. So on the left side, I want you to continue practice problems and do 16x squared minus 24x plus 9, and then factoring 9x squared plus 30x plus 25. And that's it for this entry.